The Juzear X Z reviews Defiant, the best collab IEM of 2025. Let's talk about it. Now, the Defiant was sent out to me by HiFiGo as a sample. This is a 1DD 3BA hybrid IEM from Juzear, which is, they've done quite a few IEMs, and I've reviewed some of their IEMs on channel. There are two variants of this. There is a green version and a rainbow version. I opted for the rainbow version. I thought it was kind of fun. Let's start by talking about the build quality of this IEM, and then we'll go from there. The shell size is pretty much the exact same as the other Juzears that I've reviewed on channel. It's a nice shell with a metallic nozzle. It fits and holds ear tips exceedingly well, has a flat 2-pin cable connector, and it fits in ear quite well. It feels vented, and I don't really have any fault or problems with it. I like the faceplate on this module, and overall it's just a nice IEM shell. I don't think it's superb, but it's kind of like that standard model that a lot of people are using, and it's a good, solid, strong shell with no major faults, but nothing too extraordinary. The case is nice. I kind of dig this case. I like the color. It's nothing too exciting, but it's an overall solid case with kind of this brown reddish color, and I dig it. The cable, there are connectors where you can see right, red, left for your left, and it has a chin slider that stays in place. It is an overall decent cable. Like, it has kind of unique color, and this is not as nice as the cable that you'll see in a lot of their other IEMs, but you can unscrew this and change this to a 4.4 as well. It's really pretty easy to do, and it stays on really well if that's something you're concerned about. So it is a modular cable, which is nice. This is the set of accessories that comes with it. You get a little card, a little cleaning brush, or a cleaning cloth, a little Zeo stand, and some tips. So how does this IEM sound? Bassy, good treble, all around solid set. Like, this is you'll notice something when we get to the graph section we'll talk about and other people have noticed about, but it's really close to my target, but there's other things that are close to my target. The question you have to ask yourself is it good? It has a great, fantastic tonality. I like single dynamic drivers with 3BA IEMs, and I do think this is a solid choice in the market. But let's talk about this IEM in the market, as this does have nice bass. It does have a nice amount of upper mids with never getting too shouty or too much. There's a lot this IEM does well, but I would say the upper treble and air, it makes it fit right about at this price point. But all around, it is nice and well tuned. All right, if you look at this graph, this is a nice looking graph. It fits my target really quite well. I mean, there's a few other little places. This little bit slightly V, like like the late base rise, maybe around like 350. It does have a little bit more of a 1K spike, which is normal with a lot of IEMs. So I mean, it does have some minor things which I would EQ out, but overall, this is a solid, strong IEM. Let's look at some other IEMs as competition and kind of go from there. A lot of you guys have been like, hey, JTiss, it looks exactly like your IEM. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But I didn't want to show you the 7 Hz Clinical 02. Like, how close does that do to the target? Like, these two have a very similar style tonality. I mean, the 7 Hz 02 kind of drops off at a cliff right around 13K. But overall, it's a solid set, and it's something kind of to note that, like, sometimes good tonality, you can find the tonality you want at almost any price. A lot of it almost becomes like expensive jewelry and what works for you. I recommend demoing stuff and trying stuff when you can, but the tonality of the Juzear Z reviews Defiant is really nice. Let's look at a few other sets from Juzear, right? The first one I want to show you is the 81T. Now, I didn't really like the 81T. It was very V-shaped, and I thought all around it was a great set, but I mean, just not something that I really would like. Like, if we normalize this at 500, you notice there's just a ton of upper mids right through here, and that kind of killed it for me. And the Defiant does a really great job of not being too peaky, and like as a kind of a relaxing chill sort of a set. Like I would think it would be really good for long gaming sessions, really good for long listening sessions, and as a comfortable all around good set. That IEM, I want to say is like 240. So it's quite a bit more, but I do think the Defiant's a better set. You look at something like the Juzear Clear. Now, dude, I like the Juzear Clear, but I mean, it's like a $50 set that's packaged well, but it's kind of a little bit goofy. Like it's a very warm set with kind of a lot of bass. It works for me. It's a nice tonality, and it's something fun to goof off with, like a fun set if you want something cheap, but it's not necessarily what I'd call good. It's a solid set. There is the Juzear 41T. There's another set that they did. I didn't really particularly like it. I felt like there was a lot of hiss there, and I'm not exactly sure why. It might have been like the 5K peak, but it just didn't really sound that great to me in ear, and I would go with the Juzear reviews above that. The only one of Juzear's lineup that I would prefer over this is the 61T, but the 61T is like double the price. And I mean, as far as graph goes, there's not really too much more to look at. And in fact, like the Defiant looks a little bit more smooth. I do think the Juzear 61T is a pretty good set, but I don't know how competitive that is in the market. Like for me, if someone would recommend something, I'd probably just recommend the Performer 7. Let's pull this up real quick. And you know, for me, like the Performer 7 does a really good job of kind of having a little bit spicy upper treble, but its lower mids are just really nice and really clear. And that's kind of something that I really dig and why I would kind of push people towards, but you can kind of go in any direction you might want to go with. But if you're going to go that high, I probably would go with the Performer 7 over the Juzear 61T, and I would definitely go the Performer 7 over the Defiant. But having said that, I think the Defiant's a competitive IEM at its value. And so let's look at a few other IEMs added around this price and kind of look at a few things. The first was the Aeroso. Now, the Aeroso is a $120 set. I have seen it on sale for Amazon for like $90. If you can get it for $90 or buy it with like a Linsol coupon for like, I don't know, $50 off, I would go with Aeroso, but more so. I think it's a little bit more fun, engaging. I like the upper treble more. It's just kind of an exciting, energizing set. You don't find those as often, and it's just kind of a fun, unique take on audio. And I dig the Aeroso, but it's not that much better. It suffers from a few other similar problems as the Defiant. And, at, $100, I think it becomes really competitive which one to go, which one to pick over. And so it's hard to say. As far as the less sure S08, I really like the S08. I mean, you'll notice about the same bass shelf. The Defiant has a little bit more sub bass. The Defiant has a little bit more upper mids. So it kind of depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at a planar, the S08, it's like $80. I think this one is kind of an easy win for people. Like it's one of my, like, I don't know, I think it's an easy set to recommend at its price, as it's really nicely packaged. I mean, you're looking at a planar versus a hybrid, and it kind of depends on what you're going for. I personally think they trade blows, but I think the S08 is one of those ones that for its price, for its cheaper price, it might be the way to go over the Defiant. But there are, like, the design philosophy of the Juzear's Defiant is really nice and really pretty too. So they both become really competitive at that market, and I can see we go either way. I mean, for me, if you look at other sets like a little bit cheaper, like the Delci is kind of a super V-shaped set, has a ton of energy, ton of bass. It's decent, but it's just not something I go with. I like the Defiant. The Defiant's my style. Again, the Defiant's very chill, it fits really well, and it's just a nice overall set. A set that I like is the RTT10 Pro. I mean, the RTT10 Pro has like a planar characteristic. It does kind of have exaggerated zingy upper treble and air, but overall it's a really solid set. Another one that's, I think, really competitive at this market. Probably one of my favorite sets at this price is the Dunu Kima 2, although this is not a sub-bass focused set, which is going to affect certain genres of music. And the Dunu Kima 2 is just kind of one of those warm-leaning sort of sets that's at a reasonable price and just all around a solid pick. All right, so ranking, how does this guy do? You know, it's a really solid all-around set. It has nice bass, nice note weight. It doesn't have a lot of air and extension. But you can kind of see how I place it here. Like A minus is a solid set, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to like this set, especially at its price. I think it can represent a great amount of value and a good tuning, but it's not going to light the world on fire being the greatest IEM ever. It's a great tuning at its price. Zeus did a great job at this collab. I haven't really had very many collabs, so cheekily, this is the greatest collab of 2025 so far, and I'm rather impressed with it. It has kind of a fun, unique, kind of old school design. It has good accessories. It's only $100, and I do think it represents a great value, a great tune, and a fun IEM that I think people are going to like. Is this going to be for everyone? No, but I will say that if you're considering this IEM, you should definitely try it and possibly purchase it, because I think it has a lot of characteristics and is highly competitive in this market. I think the only one I could think of being better than this would be the Let's Shore S08, and all around it's just excellent for its price. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Oh, you're expecting a teaser for our next video. Well, we don't have that kind of money. What are you expecting? One of those store reviewers to show up in a saucy little leather number? Go. Oh, I can tell you one thing. We are going to have a collab video. We have no idea what it's going to be. Probably Kryn, maybe Chris, or Joyce. Don't deny it. She's got range. Go. Get out of here. Go.
Go!
Go.
Go on with you!